I would like to reason with you this morning on what our role together has to be, but maybe focus more on your part, the part you have to play in rescuing this nation. You know, everybody has been saying Nigeria is tottering at the edge of a precipice and maybe about to topple over. Well, are you going to allow it to topple over? I want to talk about questions to start with, and maybe ask you a few questions too. Questions can be quite intrusive, you know. You have worked hard all day, you get to your bed and you want to sleep, and pop goes your mind. It's like, what's wrong with Nigeria, for God's sake? You know, and your mind goes on like that for a while, denying you of your well-earned sleep. Or you could ask yourself the question, why not? Why can't things be different? What's stopping us from making life better? That's a good question that somebody could ask themselves. Because that's the first step towards change. You've got to be able to say, why not? But more importantly, maybe a little bit more threatening, is the question, why not me? Because then you are in trouble. You have brought the responsibility home. And you might be set on an adventure that would lead you to a place you never imagined. Why not me? Maybe I succumbed to that question by resigning from the university. By the way, people think, you know, what's wrong with this lady? Here was a time when lecturers in the university finally started earning a decent salary. You know, after years of earning paltry sums, like the ASU used to say, we were earning a take-home pay that could not take us home. And now, just at the point when things got better, I put in my letter of resignation. I said, I'm off, bye-bye. You know, and people were kind of wondering, you know, what's with her? But then, anyway, let's put my own story aside for the time being. But it's important to ask, why not me? Because that's what leads to the breaking down of barriers. That's what leads to the pushing back of frontiers. That's what leads to change. Why not me? I'm happy that Emmanuel spoke about Nigerian youth, angry people. And it's true because somebody else, foreigners see it too. There's Mr. Richard Dowden who came to Nigeria, and I read his account in The Punch in February, sometime in February, and he said he was struck by the fury of Nigerian youth, that they were angry. They were angry about the lack of infrastructure, about the low level of education, and so on. You were furious. But the question is, what are you doing about it? What are you doing about it? All this anger, all this fury. Oh yes, you are very active. Nigerian youth, very, very active, busy, agile, vivacious, getting into all kinds of things, you know, tweeting, setting up all kinds of organizations and so on. In projects, programs for schools, there's a nice wave of community involvement now with Nigerian youth that has just blown me away. I am really encouraged by it. This is an example. And I've had to go with some young people who went to a school not far from here in a little town close to Ife, and they went to mentor the students, and there are others working with building bridges in rural communities, and so on and so forth. This is wonderful. Great things happening. But I'm thinking, where are you in politics? Why should you be at the periphery where it really matters? Because I think it matters there. You know, because politics decides what happens to all the rest of us. And I believe that it's time to step up the game. It's time to step up the game. Because you see, a country that has 70% of its population as young people, that 70% has no business being quiet at a time as critical as the one that we're living in. You have no business restraining yourself to the periphery, going on as if it did not matter. By the way, my daughter told me that kind of thing I'm doing is part of your anger. She says, because my generation messed things up. Now we have the nerve to turn around and expect you to fix things. Well, the question is apathy a choice? Is apathy an option, really, for you? There are too many of you, so you've got to realize that the next serve in this country is yours. In the next couple of years, if the young people of Nigeria decide that something will happen in this nation, it must happen. It will happen. Because the numbers are just overwhelming. There are too many of you. So you can affect things. You are going to be our tipping point. That is what I came here to say today. Your voice has got to be heard, telling our leaders that you want good governance too, that when you turn on the taps in your homes, there must be water coming out. That at the end of the day, when night falls, there should be electricity. That your neighborhoods must be delivered from armed robbers. That your dad's pension, which has not been paid for 7 years, that's not right. That your mother did not have to die in childbirth. That our roads don't have to be death traps. Who's got to tell them that you want our own refineries up and running too? I think these are important issues, because you can't just allow a handful of people to take over that which belongs to you. That's your inheritance. That's your inheritance. While I was thinking about this talk, a sort of crazy idea came to me. Because I felt to catch the attention of the young people of Nigeria, you either have to sing or rap your message. Isn't that true? So I figured, if that is what it would take, then you gotta have it. Right? So here goes. Times must a young man try before he passes his jamb. How many years would it take till they know that the schools just aren't good anymore? How many years must the graduate wait before she's finally employed? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Here comes the rap, here comes the rap, here comes the rap. You know, this is the generation that is totally neglected, abandoned, rejected, confused, and confounded. A mighty army, but nonetheless derided, unconsidered, untutored, unconsulted, and unheard, scratching out a living, in fact, barely existing, seeking for synergy, but only having energy, bursting with energy and seeking for synergy, but condemned to the Okada, our selling La Casera. Oh, this is the future of the giant of Africa. How many tears must the children cry? How many tears must the children cry before the leaders would heed? And how many nights must they spend in the dark before the light finally dawns? And how many words would it take till they know that the time to act is far gone? Oh, the answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Does your generation know that song? Okay. Well, the question is the answer really blowing in the wind, out of reach? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think the answer is actually quite within reach. Look at your hands. Most of you are holding something. Holding your cell phone, holding your iPad. Could that be part of the answer? Could we get something going in this place? Could we get something going viral in Nigeria? And convince those who for long have held up us captive that that time is over? That time is over. That we want to build for ourselves the kind of nation that will give us peace, that will move us toward development. That is my question for you. What are you going to do? Nigerians are known to be a resilient and creative people. So Nigerian youths, the ball is in your court. You've got to show us what you are capable of doing. And I do hope that when you go to bed tonight, there's going to be one question on your mind, which is, why not me? Thank you very much.